a little bit about where you were born and where you grew up?
Yeah, I was born in Wolverhampton. I brought up all my life in Leicester. I believe how I got here. My father worked on the M1,
Okay.
and it culminated at Leicester. So he liked Leicester so much, he stayed, and then yeah, and ended up being brought up in Leicester.
When did you first get into dancing?
I'd have to say probably the age of about 14, 15.
Was that in the 70s or?
Yes, I'm quite old.
What kind of dance was that?
It was mainly just like you know, funk, James Brown, Kool and the Gang, you know, all the stuff on the time really.
Was that at school you were dancing or
No,
young people daytimers or?
no, really. It's just like you know, like youth clubs. There was a club not far from here called Blue Legs, which you know, a lot of people of my age will know, and that's where it all started for me.
Okay. And what kind of dancing would you say you started with? Was it jazz dancing or
No, just
funk?
funk really. Funk was the, you know, that was the thing, you know, that you had to, you know, you had to do, you had to be good at if you wanted to be taken seriously.
When you started, what other dancers were dancing at the same time as you?
Oh yeah,
there's a little group.
yeah, there was well, there was people that I kind of looked up to at the time because I'd only just met them, and yeah, they seemed to be where it's happening, and there was like guys like a guy called Norville at the time, Norman Green, Peter Hines, and people like that.
And when did you kind of start taking dancing a bit more seriously, like in clubs and stuff?
I think it was on the discovery of the jazz funk scene. That's what first day there was a place called the Chase Hotel in Nuneaton. So I didn't realise at the time, but the legendary Colin Curtis, he used to come down and play there. And then he used to bring down dancers from Birmingham, like legendary dancers from, you know, Locarno and things like that. And then from there, I was introduced to a place called Nottingham Palais. And that's where it all proper started. You know, serious dancing, fashion, you know, you name it. It was there.
Would you say that was jazz dancing then? Or?
Yeah, I think it started off with like funk dancing and the styles of the time. And as the fashion progressed and the music progressed, we dressed accordingly, and dancing became more prominent, and we dressed to dance. Do you know what I mean? So in the beginning we used to wear like, you know, suits with kind of like leather ties and shirts and really dressed up. But as the music progressed and the dancing progressed, we shed all that, and we specifically dress, you know, to dance. The clothes were pared down. Do you know what I mean? And the purpose was to be free to dance.
What different types of music did you dance to over the years? How did it?
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, when I first went to Nottingham Palais, it was mainly funk orientated, and then, you know, and then as the dancing progressed, the DJs progressed with the music, which would push you further with the dancing, and then it progressed into a more of like a, you know, you had two sides to it. You had the boogie and funk dancers, and then you had the jazz funk dancers, because it's split off in ability. You know, as you got more ability, you know, you wanted to stand out, so then you change your style to a more, you know, more sort of not aggressive, but more, how can I put it, a more eclectic style. Do you know what I mean? So and that's the style that I went off. You know, because everybody tries to be good at what they do, and I realised that the jazz guys are the more elitist. So obviously, you know, I was kind of steered down that route. So. And you know, that's how, you know, obviously you get to a certain point where, you know, you kind of living for the weekends when you go down to Nottingham Palais on a Sunday night, or you go to an all day out, and everything your whole life is all geared around dancing. And you know, with me, I used to practice a lot. You know, and yeah, you know, you get the fruits of your labour. You know, you get the fruits of your labour.
What were all the different venues in Leicester that you used to dance at, or?
Yeah. Leicester wasn't a really big dance town, as it were, but we did have a few venues. We used to have obviously the obvious one from my point of view, which was Scamps in Leicester, and then I think there was places like we used to have Busby's, a place called Airport, They used to have Bally High in Nottingham Pally upstairs. But as far as I'm concerned, our main club was, Scamps was that was like, put Leicester on the map because people would come from all over the UK to come to it.
Was that a black club or was it mixed?
It was mixed, yeah. It was mixed, yeah. It was mixed, yeah. It was good. And I used to have favourite DJs. Like my favourite DJ was obviously Jonathan Woodruff from Nottingham because he used to be the main DJ, Nottingham DJ for Nottingham Pally. You know what I mean? And we did have DJs in Scamps, and if I met them on the street, I'd probably say hi. But to tell you the names, I'm sorry. Just like even some of the music, even just like now, you used to dance to the music, and you didn't have time to go up and say, oh, what's this track or what's that track. You just yeah, and you got different types of people that listen to music, people that buy the music, and people that dance to the music. You know what I mean? And everybody gets what they want out of it, depending on what sort of person you are and what you like. You know what I mean?
When would you say your dance career kind of started and kind of ended, or?
Well, people have told me that it was basically from 1978 stroke 79, when the jazz funk scene was at its birth, until about 83, 84. Things were going on in my life, and I just thought, do you know what? Yeah, it's better to go out in a blaze of glory than to be known as a. Then and I felt that you got younger kids coming up, and with the birth of hip hop, that the whole thing was collapsing. So I just felt, well, I'm gonna go when I think I'm at my best. I totally just shut the door, and it was another part of my life. But I did hear certain things. I do know what happened on the scene generally, and I heard one or two things which I didn't like, but I do realise if these certain people didn't do these things, then there wouldn't have been nothing left for me to come back to now. So, in a way, do you know what I mean? That had to happen, really. That had to happen for a reason. So, do you know what I mean?
Currently, are you dancing still?
Yes, yeah. I've got back after 35 years. Do you know what I mean? I've been back into it for about a year now. Do you know what I mean? And I'm really enjoying it. I'm not here to prove that I'm the person that I was, but I do think I've still got some skills what people appreciate on the floor, and I'm just enjoying it for as long as I can till the body says no. It's time to give up. So that's how I approach it. I think at my time of life now, just right now, it'd be sort of my dream, and that I've been approached on a few occasions in the last 3 months is to if we could have a jazz session in Leicester, like our own little club in Leicester, you know what I mean, which I would definitely I would support and use all my powers to facilitate, if the right approach was made. So, but I've been approached to do, it's quite funny, it's quite funny in my time of life, all these opportunities that I may have had when I was younger, I'm now getting right now, which is quite funny. I've been asked to teach and all sorts of things, and there's an exciting opportunity coming off in Leicester. I can't really say too much, but if it comes off, it'll be really good. So yeah.
In terms of teaching?
Teaching, passing skills on to younger kids, taking them down to London, to like Shiftless and educational package. It would be jazz fusion, which is my area of expertise right now. So yeah, that going forward, things are looking exciting. I mean, look at this. I'm here.
So to revive your career.
Well, like I said, I don't really see it as a career. It's just like I keep saying to people, and I've said it a few times on Facebook. It's amazing where your feet can take you. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing where your feet can take you. So, do you know what I mean? I think from when I started on the jazz funk scene to when I ended, it was ever evolving. And so to keep ahead of the curve as a dancer, you had to evolve as well. To get what I mean? So it came a point where we used to dance to the DJ's music, and then it turned around that the DJs used to play music for the dancers. So that was the big turnaround in music. They would play music for us. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to play music what they thought we wanted. So that was the big breakthrough difference.
Was there a big dance scene in Leicester? Like loads of people, and was it a group?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of things going on?
Oh yeah. You know, in the height of the jazz funk scene, it was national. It was everywhere. You know, you could pick up blues and soul, and you could dance. You know, Leicester, Nottingham, Coventry, anywhere you could dance anywhere. You know, when it was at its height, it was literally mainstream. It was literally mainstream.
Was there a peak then for jazz fusion dancing?
Yeah, I would say mid. Yeah, I would say probably 82, 83. But it was different because, like, see, that's a London style. See, you know, even now you've got the South and the North divide. Jazz funk, ballet style as I call it, was predominantly in the North. In the South, in London, it was jazz fusion. Do you know what I mean? And those styles mainly came about because of the size of the venues. Because in the North, you had big, wide open spaces in big discotheques. And in London, you had smaller clubs. So the styles were defined. Do you know what I mean? And that's you know, like jazz fusion is more ballet, jumping around and spins, and then the jazz fusion style is more compact footwork. Do you know what I mean? Because that's the only space you had. So that defined the styles. You know, that was the new thing. And when you went to like all dayers, you suddenly realise that the dynamics change when the circle forms. They no longer want to see jazz dancing. You know, all of a sudden you're dancing, some guy's spinning on his head and this, that, and the other. You're thinking like, whoa! You suddenly realise that the dynamics dynamics are changing. You know what I mean? So then, you know, like to say, hip hop was a death knell of jazz funk. You know, when that came in, that killed, because the young kids were no longer interested in dancing to funk or jazz. They wanted to do breaking, and they're heavily influenced by the American model, because it wasn't.
That's when I got into it.
That's right, yeah.
84.
Yeah, because it wasn't a UK thing. It wasn't a UK, like jazz funk and fusion is a UK thing. Do you know what I mean? Influenced by, like, I don't know, what was it, MTV and things like that, and you know, yeah, and so it should be. You know, things should evolve. You know, for good or bad, things should evolve. Yeah, things shouldn't stay the same. So, you know, and I just chose that. That was the moment when I thought, well, okay, you know, time to pass the mantle on to a new generation. The scene that I'm on now is like the jazz fusion scene, which is very hardcore and underground, and basically people of my age group, we're the last bastion of that skill. And then one of our main premises is to try and not to lose it and to pass it on to a younger generation, to try and keep it going forward, because we do realise that, you know, after we give it up, you know, it could die forever, apart from in Japan. Because the Japanese are hard on it. In fact, a lot of them come over to the UK to learn it, and they take it back and teach it in Japan. Well, I do feel sorry for the Japanese, because there's one thing that a lot of people overlook. Like, the Japanese come and what do you call it? They look and they take, but they don't create their own. That's what they do. They're very good at.
Except karate.
Except karate. Yeah. You know, I mean, I'm talking about, like, dance wise and music wise. Well, I think it's part of their, you know, like I think it's part of the Japanese ideal, the way their culture is as well. Do you know what I mean? As well. You know what I mean? It's so strange because like, we have quite a few one or two Japanese guys in our scene, and it's all about respect and. Do you get what I mean? You don't get that here. you know, you just say that guy's good. You know, but they're like bowing to you and they show you respect, and it's all part of their culture and their upbringing. So. Yeah.
So it just seems like the next chapter for you seems to be kind of legacy.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Just passing on, you know, to the next generation, and you know, to try and keep it alive.